to Embrace the Pro. This is the first episode, and I'm your host, Jesse Wallace Jr. I'm a filmmaker, writer, director, producer, comedy writer. Not a comedian, but I'm a comedy writer. I'm black. I'm from Ames, Louisiana, just St. Charles Parish. Shout out to the River Parish. Grew up in New Orleans as well, Metairie, Baton Rouge. Now I'm back here, and I'm just here to talk to you guys, chat. We're gonna kick it a little bit. I got a lot going on, film career, you know what I mean? Trying to produce some shows and produce some movies, try to get some stuff done. Been in the New Orleans area. We want to just show everybody that you can too can fly. So I got to know a little bit about myself. I'm a Virgo if you're into that kind of thing. I know a lot of people hate us. That's why I don't say much. I don't even tell people my sign, if you're into that kind of thing. And I went to Southern University in Baton Rouge, and I got started in theater because they didn't have film. Lafayette had a film, but Baton Rouge, Southern didn't. I was like, shit. So I didn't have the correct ACT score to get into Lafayette. So like my only options was like Southern, which wasn't a bad thing, but that's just all I could get into at the time. So I chose Southern. I didn't even like grasp the HBCU factor of it, but my whole family went to Southern. My auntie, my mama. So, I was keeping that tradition alive. And then I was in mass comm, and I was like sitting in class, and they was talking about like television production and stuff, and like news and stuff like that. I'm like, am I in the right major? So I went to the registration people, and I'm like, yeah, I don't think I'm taking the right classes. I said, I want to do film, like TV, like acting and stuff. And they was like, we don't have that here, but we got theater. Like, theater? I said, damn, I would work on plays and stuff. It's like, forget it. So I joined theater, and it was an experience because going to a black school. Well, I went to like a PWI high school, and I guess as you can say, like to me, this is just my opinion. Like the white people at that school was like Bayside High, but all the black people was like lean on me if that made sense. It was like a big division into, I guess you could say, social classes. Like, we had some broke ass Negroes there, we had some rich white folk, but they also had some broke white people there, some rich black folk. So when I got to Southern, it's all niggas. I'm like, yes. Oh my God. It was overwhelming culture experience shock for me. It was like, even though I grew up in a black neighborhood, but it was a culture shock to me. Like I was like, oh my God, like look at all these black people. You know, um, so, when we got to theater, I didn't know what the hell to expect actually, because when I think of theater, when I was younger, I thought of like little geeks or, gay guys or women that's into like the singing and the dream girls type stuff. Like all I really knew was dream girls, them kind of plays. And the other side of it was like Mama Who Stole the Cornbread type plays, That's the only two plays I knew. Besides like the Shakespeare's and all that. So I got there and I was amazed at how many like artistic black people they had. And when I say artistic, I'm talking about like, like it was like, I don't know if y'all watch Glee, but it was like Glee. And everybody's like just walking around quoting movies and dancing and la 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 and all that practicing. I was like, what the hell is going on here? And then like throughout theater, I was still like a, quote unquote street nigga. Like I was still like, man, I can't do this. Like so I was working backstage. I was working backstage and I was like, yeah, I'm just gonna like pull curtains and do stage work and all that. So then I met Stanley that next year, Stanley White Jr. Shout out to Stanley. And Stanley from New Orleans. So it was good to have somebody from home there. And this nigga was like different. Like this nigga had a mohawk, nigga was tatted up, had on like some Timbs with like a jean jacket cut off. And I'm like, who the hell is this nigga? He was like, what's up, baby? I was like, oh shit, you from home. So that showed me like, okay, I guess I can just be myself and relax. So then after that, like, I was working backstage on plays and stuff like that. And my teacher, Dr. Hendricks, she was like, well, you the only one that didn't act. And I was like, Dr. Hendricks, I ain't no actor. And she was like, well, you have to for a grade because that's, it's a whole class. I was like, man. So I did one play. I like that shit. I was like, oh man, people clapping for me and giving me dancing hugs and stuff like that. I was like, man, they showing me love. It's on now. I've been doing it ever since. Now, how I got started in directing was for a grade we had to direct a play for to get out of school. So I directed my first play. I forgot what the shit was called, but I had to recruit 2 actors. I had to get a script, show them it, direct it. I got the most because I didn't know what the hell I was doing, and around that time, I was deeply into the weed and the drinking and the partying, so I was just ready to get the hell up out of there. I said, man, let me just do some little quick, boring little script. I found this 2-man script for a woman and a man, and the woman was acting like she was pregnant, and it was supposed to pop. And I said, man, this is boring as hell. I said, man, So we all got together, and I said, man, let's try to make this funny. That's all I knew was comedy. I was like, man, we got to make this funny, dog, because this ain't it. So we did some. I kind of like rearranged it a little bit, and I guess because like when you take like I guess you could say a quote unquote white script and get black people to do it, it adds more flavor, and it's like but like see because black people our comedy a little more like what's the word action-ish, like slapstick. So, like your Martins and your like Marlon Wayne, they're like, oh, what's up and all that. That's kind of what we used to. And white people got that like smart comedy, I guess you could say that real dry humor, like Seinfeld. Like, why do they call it a figure eight? What's the figure? What's the eight? Type stuff. So I had to figure out a way to combine that. Cause I'm like, man, like I said, I go to Southern, all black school. And I somehow had them dying laughing off of that play. I was like, yeah, this might be my calling, you dig? So fast forward, I started acting, started doing stuff like, extra work, I do like TV shows and all that. But I ain't get my own joint until like Phaedra, my sister Phaedra, she from my homegirl, she went to Southern with me. She was in theater too. And she started doing joints. Like, she started working on set and all that. So she said she was going to do her own shit. So I said, at that time, I was retired. You know what I'm saying? I had just got out the mental hospital. I was in the mental hospital, like I was going through shit. I was dating the wrong girl. And comes with a lot of shit. But, so I got out. It was like, I'm not acting no more. She got me to do it. And it was, I felt like I was on top again. I was like, this is my chance, But we had some director problems, like, and, we had the one dude that was directed. He had like this vision for it. And it was just like, I guess he was just like watching a whole bunch of TV shows and stuff like Power and Greenleaf when it was on at the time, and Queen Sugar and stuff like that. And he was like, yeah, I saw this on this, and I saw this on that, and I could do it. Yeah, I was like, well, all right, cool, I guess. Man, that fool quit. He was his first time director. He quit on us. So then we got another dude, you know what I'm saying? And rest in peace to him, Robert. And he just totally had a whole other idea in mind. We had one black dude. And we had one young, hip black dude that was trying to, show us his vision. He quit. Then we get this older gay white dude. He's like, Jesse, we're gonna just forget everything that we learned from him, and we just gonna start over. And I was like, okay. So it was a short movie, but we was working on it forever. And I was just like, man, if this is directed, I'm doing this shit. So then I started writing the script. I didn't know what the hell writing the script was about, but I was like, yeah, I want to do Confessions of an R&B Diva. So I started writing that because I'm into old 70s movies. Well, I was like, man, one of my favorite movies is Sparkle. And I said, man, I want to do something like Sparkle. But I took out the 3 girls and just kept it one, and I was trying to write a script. Shit just wasn't popping like how I wanted. So I sent it to Phaedra. Phaedra wrote it for me. And Phaedra not from New Orleans, nor is she in the music business. So she wrote a good story, but it was like real girly. I said, Phaedra, like, I can't put this shit out. I said, man, this shit is too damn girl. It's like should be on the CW. She was like, well, I ain't no man, friend. I was like, all right, bet. So I said, look, this is what I'm gonna do. So I kept the names, and all that. I kept the premise, and I just rewrote what she had. Like I rewrote the whole, but I ended up rewriting the whole script by accident because I just started it and I just started adding stuff and adding stuff and adding stuff. Like so that turned into a diva, And then I did Camille, and then and now we're here, So that's my journey with that.